Actually, I was born in this house
That
in
did.
1919, 7th of October. And I've been here ever since. I was away 5 years, but I've been here ever since. At that time, of course, all the farmers had milk going to the factories, and they were all through the country, you know. Well, you had to go every morning.
Every
early.
morning?
Yeah, and you'd had to take it right down and have to have it there by 8 o'clock, because then, of course, the factory guy, he had to do it that day, you know, bring it into cheese and whatnot. And so it was lots of work,
Yeah.
but not much pay.
Yeah.
And you didn't buy very much because you didn't have the money to buy it. Now, today, if you had a dinner, you'd expect to have meat today, you know, some type of meat or whatever, but at that time you didn't have that at all. But they never neglected the kids either. Nobody did at that time. The parents would have starved before the kids would have. I only went to grade 8. I went through grade 8. You know, it used to be junior
Right.
first and senior first or whatever. Oh, well, I didn't think I was all that smart, but I did skip a couple of classes during that time. And of course, you didn't go to school until 6, you see, or you didn't go till you would be 6, you see.
Right.
And my dad was quite old, and he had a bad back. He worked hard, what he could do, but I can remember I done most of the cutting the hay and as soon as I got out of school. My dad's father come from England, and he was a school teacher supposedly, but he did get into a little trouble because he got drinking a bit over here, and then he wasn't doing very good. So at that time, way back, they used to, if a person had a lot of kids and couldn't keep them all, they used to farm them out in the summer to a farmer, you know. And he was farmed out there when he was 8 years old. They sent him out there for the summer to work for the farmer. And he said they used him not too bad, but they didn't feed him too good. But he said he used to get a straw, and he'd have to milk cows, you know, and he'd get a straw, nice clean straw, and then when he was milking the cow, he'd get the straw in his mouth and stick it down in the pail. He'd be drinking milk while he told me that himself.
Yeah. So how did you meet your wife then?
See, there's a lake right here along the property, and folks used to come in occasionally. We never refused anybody from coming in and having a picnic. And anyway, this folks come from, they were over at Bell Rock, and they came, and I saw this dark-haired girl, beautiful hair, curly hair, but at the same time, I also had another girl down the road here, and her and I were down there fishing. Anyway, I never thought any more about it, but after we got going together, then all of a sudden I run into her someplace one night when she was about 16, and we finally got getting out together. You know, we kept it on going until we were married. Gladys always, or off, she'd just say, "Oh yeah, I saw you down there, and you had another girl with you." Well, we didn't have any children until we were 5 years married.
Okay.
Purposely, I believe, and we had a doctor from Charlotte Lake, and he was beyond his time. He was a smart doctor. We went to Dr. Weddick, and I went in. He had a great big table there, and he had a great big seat that he could roll back and forth like this, and he was a nice lad. And so we went in and said, "Well, what's the trouble?" "Well, she's seems to be getting sick, and I can see him yet." He talked quite a while, and he said to me, he said, "Is this your sister?" And I said, "No." I said, "She's my wife." "Well, how long have you been married?" Well, I said, 5 years. And he just rolled back there with a great big laugh. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with her. She's only pregnant, that's all.
That's
I was the youngest son, of course, and I was the only one that I stayed home.
right.
And the older boys got away and working, and they both got married, and of course, and my dad died when I was 18.
Okay.
And as a result, I had to do everything, I mean.
Right.
And my sister had gone to Ottawa, and she was working, and she got married down there, and the guy was working for a construction outfit in Ottawa. He bugged me here for ever so long. Every time he'd come, he'd bugging me, come on down, you can get a good job, and I can get you a job there. See, they had the biggest construction, they had over 1,000 men in the summer.
Okay.
And of course, they hired me right on, and they had different bosses, And the guy that I happened to get with there, I saw him different times when I'd be working. He'd come in, just for a half an hour, and lots of times he'd be standing back there, and seemed to me he was sitting there always watching me, and I didn't know whether I was doing it wrong or. But anyway, didn't turn out that way because he requested that I get him from the company, and so from then on I worked for the same guy. I learned more from him than I did from anybody ever about carpentry work. I was a country boy, and there's some of the things that I saw there, I never seen them before, how to do it or anything else. And I was simple enough to just say to him, look, sir, I never done anything like that before. Well, it's not that bad, and I can see him yet. He said, you don't know how, well, I'll show you. And he'd just flip that coat right off like that, and he'd spend an hour there with me. And so it wasn't very long till I had gotten up to a not too bad a position. He had a heart attack, and that might give you a little indication of what I feel like. He had a heart attack. He got a heart attack, and they let him go. They fired him.
Oh, really?
So, as a result, I quit. Now, he was still capable of working because he got a job for another company, and I did go and work for him a bit for a while. He told Mom once, he said, he didn't have a son, he had a girl. But he said, I wish I had a son like you got. One time, told my mom.
You and your wife, you'd moved to Ottawa.
Yeah, we'd moved to Ottawa, yeah. And one day, my wife said to me, you know something, money isn't everything in this life. And she said, I don't think it's a good place to raise kids. I had picked up a lot of construction savvy in Ottawa because I saw lots of things that would have never even been used or worked like up here, in the country like that. We started to work here, and oh my word, the work just increased. Oh, we could have had 50 guys working. We stuck to 5 guys, and they worked for a long time with us, didn't they?
So you just
they were good.
Building houses and building anything that.
Carpentry, all sorts of carpentry.
All carpentry, yeah.
Barns,
And
churches, stores.
What buildings around here did you do then, back then?
well, there's a lot of them.
We could go down the road and that one.
Oh, yeah.
This one.
Your wife lived till when
Pardon?
when did your wife die, Gladys?
Oh, 3 years and a half. She died in July 11, 2011.
2011.
25th of July. She was always wanting to help people, Some days she always pretty well always sit in that chair right there, pretty well always. And right out of the blue, she said, well, let's get some corn tonight and take it out around somewhere. Then we'd take out, well, where do we go tonight? Well, let's go up to Titchburn, Farham or somewhere. So we'd go up to the folks that we knew, of course, that we knew people, and just walk in and say, here, we brought some corn. Well, how much do I owe you? You don't owe us nothing. So for several years there, we paddled corn around different places. But she was a super girl. Well, at least I thought.
Right, yeah.
I guess that'd be good. But she was.